So, which decade gave us the best styling in terms of cars and 20 mile an hour speed limits on our roads? We discuss it all. Strap yourselves in.
Buying or selling a classic car? Head to historics.co.uk or click below for a free valuation.
Hello and welcome to the latest instalment of the Historics podcast. I am joined as ever by Historics expert Mathew Priddy.
Good morning.
Good morning. And YouTuber and car expert Tom Exton.
Expert, I like it. Thanks.
Is that good?
Hello.
Now then, in this podcast, we will be talking about the best decade for styling. And I am going to plump for 1980s. Matthew, where are you going?
Well, since you took 1980s,
Yep.
I'm going to go a decade earlier. I'm going to go for the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And young Tom, where are you going? Because you can start.
2010 onwards, I'm trying to think of the name for that decade, but whatever that is.
In tens, teens,
There isn't really a name, is there?
no.
Kind of-
Yeah. But you've gone with young at least. Young Tom, young
Yes,
decade. I like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, I'm a very young man, so that's why.
What do you want to propose first then for a great styled car?
I like the Ferraris of that era. I think Pininfarina were doing a good job.
Yep.
Your 458s, your FFs.
Yeah.
Fabulous stuff.
Yep.
Even the California, I think it's a pretty car, the original one. And I think Porsche, the 997 era, was knocking around then as
yes.
well.
Yeah.
Your Gen 2 997s, very good looking cars, doing very well.
It's probably the last era that sort of didn't have that electric need, so therefore the
Yeah.
styling could still be sort of repurposed around an engine rather than engine and batteries and everything else. So,
Yeah.
whereas now it's sort of multi-purposed, I suppose.
Yeah, and they're all getting kind of bulbous and this. Yeah, so I think that was the last era before all that kind of guff came in.
Guff.
Guff.
Technical speak.
The
Well,
design
you're
chat.
expert. You see, this is what you get. Yeah, so that's my pitch.
What about smaller, more affordable sort of city cars?
Off the top of my head, I haven't really thought of that. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, all of those sorts of cars, they're now all hybrid and enormous, aren't they?
Well, city
A
cars
Mini's
aren't
the size of a truck.
City
these
cars
days.
aren't city cars now unless they're micro cars.
Oh, that's a good point,
They've become
yes.
quite large. You know,
Yeah,
Ford
yeah.
Fiesta isn't really a small city car anymore.
Yep.
It's 5 doors. That's a
If you
family
want a
car.
small city car now, you don't really have a choice between something that is just a small car. You have to buy the Citroen Ami or that new Fiat Cappuccino, or whatever it's called. You know, the little kind of thing that's the same at the front
Like
as
the
it
way
is
to
at the back.
That's the Ami, that's Citroen Ami, isn't it?
But Fiat have done one as well. They've just
Oh,
literally
yes,
just
yeah,
put
yeah.
Fiat
Oh,
badges
yeah.
on the same thing.
Yes,
And all the panels are the same the whole way around. Like you don't get a left door and a right door. They're just, so you can just crunch it. And
But the Honda E, that's another lovely looking city car.
that's a cool little car actually. And I'm a huge fan of the i3S actually, BMW i3S. I think
Okay.
they're fantastic. I think they're brilliant. Long before their time, those things.
Well, thank you for your contribution.
Convoluted response there with various
However,
conflicting opinions.
I think Matthew will begin to
Yes.
be able to do better
Thank
with
you
the
for your
styling for the
contribution.
70s.
However, you're wrong. Yes. So 70s. So picked 4 here. I mean, predominantly at the
Greedy.
top end. I've gone a bit greedy. But of course, 1974, Lamborghini Countach. Now, what I like about the 70s is that it was that sort of era where you had that really quite angular sports cars, and they were very much of key at that point before we started going to that rounder sort of sports car feel, which culminates in that sort of 2010, 2015 when everything's beautifully smooth again. So the Countach, which is, that's seen like a double in its value in the last couple of years. So obviously, I am right. Everyone agrees with me.
What sort of money is a Countach making?
They tend to be up around about. I mean, in dollars, you see more of them selling in the States. It's sort of up $900 million. Wow. They were half that, not a great long time ago. So a bit like a car you're going to mention later, they really have started to press on. And then the other car I thought as well, which everyone associates with the 80s, but was obviously released in the 70s, which is the 930 Turbo. That was 75, that car was released. So theoretically, that's a 70s car, not an 80s car.
You can have that.
But those haven't had that same jump yet, really. But if you consider comparisons to things like the Countach, I know they're a step above, but they're still sort of 80 to 120,000 pounds. And how iconic with the whale tail, the Widowmaker. Back in the 70s, with the 4-speed box, and on key, we have one in the auction.
We do, yeah.
So I think those 2 cars specifically, really coined that era. And then you've got I'd say sort of the cooler lower end of the market, Saab, 9.3 turbo.
Yeah, they're good. They're really cool. I can get on board with
I saw a
that.
great quote. It's like, take your auntie's car and put a turbo in it. So rather than go to bingo, you go bungee jumping. Because it was the start of that, and it rolled into the eras of that sort of slightly bonkers. We'll take whatever we made and just throw stuff on it.
Yeah.
And then just see what happens. And in that essence, it was fantastic. Massively angular again.
Yeah.
And they kept advertising as if it was something to do with, was it Saab doing the fighter jet part?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
As if they made them in the same factory.
Yeah.
But clearly not.
But I mean, it was a time as well, wasn't it, 70s, where people had dubious clothing choices and hair cuts and stuff like that. So the wild and the wacky was welcome.
We also you were trying to attract attention. The idea of the top-end sports cars specifically were attract attention. But even get down to, I think the Citroen SM, I think, was back in the 70s. So wacky was key. And then the final one, when I was looking through what cars was, and this was very 70s, Magnum PA, 308, GTB GTS. It was launched in 75 at the Paris Motor Show. And to this day, still stunning car. One of the best designed Ferraris, I think, that's ever
Look unbelievable. They're not crazy cash. I was looking at them the other
Still
day.
not punchy, no, still not punchy at all.
60, 70 grand?
I think to get a really good one, you're probably parting with 80. Going above that, it's going to be really, really low mileage or some sort of provenance. So a bit like the 930. So this is all the degrees of affordability, of course, and you don't see me driving around in them. But realistically, given how iconic they are, not stratospherically expensive.
No.
Investment-wise, probably relatively safe. You can't imagine them going much lower than that, I wouldn't have thought.
No, not if you get a nice one.
So beat that, 70s.
Oh, I know. And also, the Magnum car, I drove one about a year ago, probably had 40,000, 50,000 miles on the clock, something like that. It was still so solid and so much fun and exploitable and noisy and an event when I drove it.
No real aids, just car.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was super cool.
So go on. 80s.
Again, thank you for your contribution to the debate here. Welcome to the 80s. So my first offering is the Ford Sierra RS Cosy. So this, I mean, talk about,
Channeling.
Auntie's Saab. This is a family car turned supercar worthy, in my opinion. Group A racing regulations required 5,000 to be built, and around 5,500 in the end was sold. Success on the racing track, as well as a little bit of world rally stuff. 2-litre, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, 15-inch multi-spoke alloy wheels, which sound tiny now, but at the time they were, quite sort of like quite glitzy. But the pièce de résistance, in my opinion. Hello, Whaletail.
Exactly, yeah.
The most, or one of the most iconic profiles of any car
It's got to be
ever.
top 10 most iconic parts on a car.
Yeah.
Is that RS Cosworth Whaletail.
Yeah.
They just made the car.
Yeah. I mean, that, in my opinion, is a design bit of genius.
Yeah.
Because you'd see on the later Escort Cosworths, and there was a number of them that took them off on the rallies. And this moment they took them off and thinking, it's not the same.
No, exactly. It's like you seeing a peacock as opposed to a peahen, which is a pea lady. A peacock without his feathers is not, I mean, it's the equivalent, isn't it?
No, you're quite right. I've gone completely, my brain's gone into a completely
By the way, you looked
space.
at me to translate that there. He's not going to know what a peahen is. I'm just going to have to decipher this one.
So you channeled your inner hooligan with that.
Peahen.
And of course, the rally homologation, that has been a huge factor in values in the last decade. Anything that has that limited number because of rally homologation has become incredibly collectible.
Yes.
I mean, you see it recently with like the idea of everyone buying those little Yaris's. Is that same sort of hark back to, Cosworths, Deltas, Integrales, and all that stuff. It makes a big, big difference.
Yeah.
And values have been incredible for Fords in the last 5 years.
What would a Sierra RS Cosy be? Or what's
Standard
the market?
RS Cosworth is sort of anywhere sort of between 40, 60, 70. They really changed depending on quality of the car. Bear in mind, a lot of them were really heavily used.
Yeah.
Really heavily used.
Guilty as charged. I had a few through the press office at various times.
And then, of course, you've got the RS 500, which values have just, because again, and a bit like any car, that if enough of them are made, then they're always going to have a price point. But if you then start to lower the amount of them made, that data sort of squeals away, and it just becomes who wants to buy the best. And there was an RS 500 that sold for over 400,000 pounds, over 500,000 pounds.
Yeah, I think it was around 500,000, wasn't
which
it?
is incredible.
Wow.
That's really.
I mean,
ridiculous.
intrinsic value-wise,
Yeah.
you are just getting an old Ford.
Yes. Ultimately, yes. It's
Not being
mad.
horrible. There's a lot of stuff that's just
Yeah.
from a 1,500 quid car.
But the difference is, of course, is that the people that are buying these Cosworths were probably working class people that have done very well and now want to basically put their collection together of cars that they grew up with.
Yeah, it was
and
the
they wouldn't
pin-up.
have seen the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis because they would have grown up at, around factories and dads would have been working. So for them, that was the icon.
Yeah.
And it still has that flies the flag of the people's.
Yeah.
Totally,
So,
exactly.
totally.
Yeah. Has the common touch and the
Yeah.
man of the street,
Not
or
when it's
woman
a-
of the street.
It's not really
kind of
common
things.
touch when it's at
Well, no,
£500,000,
that's true.
though, is it? I mean, that's
Yeah, I think that's dissipated.
Yeah.
May I bring in some Italian flair?
Please do.
If you have to.
Lancia Delta Integrale.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I have a story about one of these.
Oh,
I was young, must have been 19, 20, a bit of a hooligan driving around.
You were young in 1920.
No.
Did I
was
hear that
19
right?
or 20.
Oh, 19 or 20. By the way, I forgot to show. I've got some pictures.
Oh, there we go.
Look at that.
Print out. You're keen.
See, I was going up a hill. There was a speed camera, 30 miles an hour, in a little Corsa GSI.
Oh,
Yeah, good.
It was fast, but handled like a banana.
yeah.
And go through with the camera at 30 miles an hour, and then you could gun it out the other side. Gunned it out the other side. And this was only a little, it was quite a quick little car.
Yeah.
Went 16
Quite
valve.
light.
It went quick.
Yeah.
A Lancia Delta Integrale, wide-bodied Evo, overtook me immediately going uphill. And so that day I was like, just a shame they didn't put the steering wheel on the right side.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, they were all left hookers, but 4 drivers and 6 manufacturers World Rally titles, which is pretty amazing. 2-litre turbocharged. Black grille, iconic.
Yep.
Twin headlights, beautiful design, really simple, and the bulging arches. Boom, boom, boom.
I always thought really masculine sort of car. No curves, nothing. I don't think pretty. Always aggression.
Yeah.
Wide-bodied. I'm coming past. I always felt that it was quite an aggressive car.
Yeah.
A bit like the Audi Quattro.
Yes, yeah. That's a good point. I just have to go back to my whale tail
There's the
because
Wales.
I've printed these out, so I'm
amazing.
going to show them.
Yeah, you've put in some serious work there.
Put in the work.
Credit where it's due.
Thank you so much. I
Well
very
done.
much appreciate
really
it.
nice DPI as well. Very nice resolution there. Don't get too close.
My Ceylon. What's the yellow colour? Anyway,
Sorry,
that's
what?
Cyan.
My cyan's on the blink, so that's probably why that. Oh, my last one. This was a 40th birthday present to Ferrari. I mean, holy smoke, Batman, happy birthday. The F40. So almost 500 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in just under 4 seconds. Pin-in Farina design from the design studio. Minimum weight for maximum power. So much so that I have driven one, which was amazing. And trying to get out, I mean, it's literally like a piece of a baler twine, bit of string, just to get you out. There's no interior door handle because it's weight
It feels
saving.
like a kit car. I drove one, and I think it was a case of maybe I didn't drive it in the right place or I wasn't in the right frame of mind, but I felt like don't meet your heroes afterwards.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I'd built myself up to this being like a pivotal moment in my life, and I drove it and I was like, that's a bit like a kit car. That's a bit sad.
I now see.
That's really
I don't know what I was
disappointing.
expecting. Maybe I had just false expectations. But it's still the coolest thing in the world. It's art. It's unbelievable. I think it's the last car that Enzo himself signed off before he
See,
popped his clogs.
frustratingly, I've never driven one, and now prices have bolted so high. What's the chances of someone ever giving me one to drive?
Well,
Pretty slim.
happy birthday.
Unless anybody
Anyone out
really
there?
fancies it. I'll film it. We'll put it out there.
They're not going to give me
one,
one after that review. So
and I'll tell them it's all wonderful.
What are the prices
Oh,
today?
they've just gone absolutely mental. We're talking, again, mainly selling in the States, and the dollars are up to like $3 million now. And that is 3 times what it was, and then some, really. I remember them being about £800,000.
Yeah.
People struggling to sell them, even the LMs. It was
How
really...
long ago was that?
6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And then it's just gone and keeps going. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And you keep, now that they're hitting those heights, people with those in collections are now going, right, now that's time to cash in.
Yeah.
And then moving them on. But big money now. As I said, I think even if someone did say, could you drive my F40? The problem is I wouldn't really properly drive it now. I'd be like, I've got to shoot it rather gently.
Well, just give me the keys. I'll do that for you.
Yeah, I've noticed that in some of our driving in videos.
Don't know what you're talking about. Now then, because we have been talking about design,
Yes.
and I've never created a car, have you?
nope.
No, I was a failed car designer. I wanted to do that at school and failed the
Matthew.
design course and then left school
Okay.
and ended up working in newspapers for some random reason. Yeah. But I wanted to always be a car designer. I loved car design. I couldn't understand why when someone had created something beautiful, why every other car designer hadn't looked at that. You know, when people took off door handles and put them under, I think brilliant. Just loved all of that. Used to draw them.
Oh, wow.
And then just failed miserably at school. So there's a lesson to all of you. Do well at school. You can actually be able to follow your dreams. Otherwise, you end up sitting next to these two.
Well, your dreams could be changing right now because I would like us to have a go at creating a car. But there's a little tiny twist. May I just say this? I've got this. This is proper drawing and sketching paper that I have gone out and purchased.
Is this going to be on?
It won't be on expenses. Have this one on me. So I want you to have that. I want you to have that pink pen.
Thank you.
I want you to have that other shade of pink. And I'm going for blue.
Yep.
Using 3 lines only.
Yep.
They can be a wiggly line, they can be acute, they can be curved, they can be whatever, but using 3 lines only, I want you to create a car. So it's up to you, a shape like a silhouette or a front end or whatever. And if you please do this at home, or if you're listening to us walking about, just imagine it. Imagine your 3 lines in your head for your creation.
We'll put them up later for everyone to laugh at.
Are you ready?
3 lines only?
Yeah. So the pen goes...
But can you just do like one big drawing?
Of course you
line?
can, my love. But using 3 lines. And then we'll see what we come up with.
Oh, you really do think you're a car designer, don't you? What is...
Ignore what?
No, wait, no,
he's already
I
done
want to
it.
see.
Oh, didn't get
don't
enough
cheat.
Oh, okay. No, right, you've got to do your first thing. Okay. So this is interesting.
I was...
Hang on a minute while the child has a go.
Sorry, who are you talking to?
2010 to 2015.
I've actually forgotten how to hold it. That's right, isn't it?
No,
or is that chopsticks? No, that's not chopsticks.
You need that grip, really. So, Matthew.
Yeah, I messed up my bottom line.
No, but that's fine. You see, so you clearly like a Porsche Panamera.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you kind of went that way. I didn't intend it to go that way.
But that's so important to you is like a bonnet and a roof. That's your most important thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Come on, then.
You've still got 2 lines left to play with.
What's this?
So I've gone for a top end. That's the bottom, and I've got a rear wing. So for me, I value a rear wing.
That's a rear wing after. So that's the front. This is the front.
Yeah, that's the front. Yeah.
So the rear wing is.
So I've basically made a dolphin.
Doing that. At least Tom's looks like some sort of...
So Tom, using 3 lines in any wiggly way that he's done, has done a Fiat Multipla.
That's an icon of design, to be fair. I'll have that.
Pininfarina.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
So you remember that car? How many other MPVs do you remember from that era?
It's fair comment.
So
brilliant.
After all of that, thank you very much. What era won? Come on, what was the best era?
I think 80s, to be fair. I tried to make my point.
After all that, you should probably pick the 90s, which none of us did.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. There's a lesson there for us all.
So, I grew up in the 80s. I probably would have chosen the 80s if you hadn't stolen it first.
Of course, I could steal
I would
it.
have chosen 80s
And the
as well.
F40.
Testarossa as well.
Yeah.
And the F40 was my favourite ever car, although maybe it's a good thing I haven't driven it. So I think I would have pitched for 80s. I think it literally the last of the cars before driver age started to get involved. Because once you hit the 90s, we started to get electrics, and then they had to change the design for everything else. And
ABS, airbags.
Exactly. And as we know, safety ruins car design. Shame.
Yeah, but it keeps us alive. So that's
Trying
a really
to save
good
people's
thing.
lives.
Right, well, moving on now, and we are delighted to be joined by the big boss of Hagerty, which is where we are right now. And Hagerty is a classic car insurance specialist, and Matthew here has got some exciting news to share with you, which involves historics and Hagerty. So over to Matthew now, as we bring in Mr. Mark Roper from Hagerty. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Firstly, thank you so much for letting us borrow your lovely new home here at Bicester Heritage. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's very nice, isn't it?
It is really nice.
We're really happy with it. It's been a couple of months now, and we're starting to get some good use out of it.
Perfect.
including when people like us turn up and just take over the joint. Everyone's poor people upstairs trying to work, and we're causing merry hell downstairs.
Oh, I know, but they enjoy this going on. They're all petrol heads here, so it's petrol first, insurance second.
Yes, of course. So, Mark, you are the managing director of Hagerty International.
Correct.
Proper big wig, I like that. Yes. So the reason we've got Mark in, and the reason we're in this Hagerty clubhouse, is because auction partner and insurance partner, Hagerty and Historics, are now working hand in hand. So we just wanted to announce that here and ask Mark. So Mark, what do you think that means for the insurance partner, for the auction house, for the community? How can this benefit us, yourselves, moving forward?
Yeah, Hagerty, we are a commercial organisation, publicly listed on the New York Stock Exchange, but still very much a purpose-driven business. And McKeel Hagerty, the CEO and the founder of Hagerty, his purpose for the whole of Hagerty is to save driving for future generations and fuel car culture. And that means Hagerty trying to be at every touch point that the enthusiast or the collector is at. So, clearly we try to help people protect their cars through insurance. We run our own events as well. So hopefully people can come and enjoy being at those car shows and either displaying their own car or seeing other cars. And clearly a touch point is when someone chooses to buy a car.
Exactly.
And one of the ways they buy a car is through auctions, and you're part of that ecosystem. And so we feel it's very important for Hagerty to also be at that touch point, and delighted to partner with Historics in that way.
It's very much about growing that community, isn't it? And we often talk about this. We often talk about money and the sort of the other parts of cars and owning cars. But ultimately, if people don't want to own cars, then this industry just disappears. So it is important to keep that community growing and supported by the likes of Hagerty. So what I would say is if you do purchase a car from us now, click through, get your quote with Hagerty, and we will do more podcasts with Hagerty over the next coming 12 months. Maybe some fun with some future values, of which you guys have got plenty of data on.
Lots of data, yeah. And I'm happy to share that data and give our insights in that.
Well, if you can make my job any easier, that would be most beneficial.
I'll do my best.
But I think what I would do is we've just had some fun.
Yes, I want to just kick off the relationship with Historics and Hagerty with a little bit of fun. So we have been discussing the decades of the best styling of cars, and we reckon 1980s. What do you think?
Late 70s, early 80s for me.
Okay, crossing our two decades. And we realised how difficult it is actually to design a car. Mm-hmm. So using 3 lines of a pen only, could you very kindly come up with your creation of a car? Could be profile, could be head-on, could be rear, whatever. And I'm sure that your colleagues would be very proud to frame it and put it up in your office.
Well, I'll do my best. I'm not sure they'll be proud to
3
frame
lines.
It,
so
using 3 lines only.
Yeah,
okay.
And we'll show you the results of ours just swiftly afterwards, so you don't feel too bad. Angles.
Ooh. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. It's a Countach.
Yes.
Well, I was thinking Lotus Esprit, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
Late 70s, early. We said about the 70s being very angular, and that's quite in loop.
That was mine. Rear spoiler, Dolphin.
Yeah, maybe.
That was Matthew's.
Oh, yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah. And Tom went for...
Well, that's cheating, surely.
Well, that's Tom, isn't it? Oh, that's marvellous. If you could just sign it, we'll pop it up on the wall. Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much. And we will see you soon.
My pleasure. Look forward
Thank
to it.
you very much.
Thanks very much.
Look forward to
Thanks,
working
Mark.
with you.
Cheers, guys.
Right, Tom, do you want to come back in for topic number 2?
Well, you want me back after that? He's much more reasonable than me. Hello.
Hello. Right. So on to our next topic. Steady on. That's a microphone. A bit loud.
Sorry.
Now, recently, a 20-mile-an-hour limit has been implemented in Wales in built-up areas, which I think is quite an important thing for us all to discuss because it will affect us all. A few headlines to start with, just to put it a bit more context in.
What, you've got them, or you want us to sort of...
No, I can.
Go on, you give us the headlines.
Please do.
Yeah.
So 30,000 road signs have been altered, and that covers just under 8,000 miles of roads in Wales. Wow. The Welsh First Minister said that it will save £92 million for the NHS in, I can only assume, sort of, accidents and what have you.
You'd hope
In
so.
how long?
So
Is that a year?
But it's a
or
politician. They won't give you how
no,
long.
exactly. That's
doesn't
it's a
need to be
minister.
true, does it?
Don't
It
need to
sounds
be-
good.
But statisticians have come up with the fact that it will add about 63 seconds to every trip.
Oh, it'll be nothing.
Yeah, exactly, which will be nothing. Those people against it, though, have said that it's going to hurt business, it will hit tourism, and it's anti-motorist. And to start with, if you are caught doing more than 20 in a 20, initially you will be given educational advice
Speed awareness.
before you then start getting
I'm quite-
punished. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm really for this. I live in a little village. I think lots of people live on, roads that cut throughs. There is no reason to be going at any speed through a built-up area, a residential area. It's not fun. There's no fun in driving a sports car through that. It's just silliness and it's dangerous. Where we can go fast is in national speed limits.
Or
and
on
that's
track days.
congested on track days. Look, I'm all for that. But when it comes into these built-up areas, this is possibly the best remit that anyone could do it. And I'm glad they've started it, and I think they should push it all the way through the UK. There's no fun in going at 30 miles an hour. You might as well go 20 miles an hour. And if it saves lives, stops the nuisance, what's the harm? It's anyone that's got a problem with it, they're not real motorists. Real motorists, people that actually enjoy. You said it earlier. Petrol heads, they don't want to go fast through a 30. That's not what real drivers do.
Yeah, I agree.
It's usually the morons that don't think about driving that are going too fast through 30s. And I think I'll go and stand in a village and hold a flag. I'd really like this to happen in mine.
Yeah,
Tom?
I'm all for it. Absolutely all for it. I think everyone, when they think of the 20 mile an hour zone and gets angry about it, I think they think of, there are occasional examples where it's a 20 in somewhere that's quite open. There's some that aren't necessarily completely needed. And I think people think of those, but actually 99 times out of 100, when the 20 zones are going to undoubtedly save lives. And you're right. 30 is far too fast in so many places. And anyone that has a problem with the sort of the 20 mile an hour zone, I think should experiment by running themselves over at 20 miles an hour and see how slow it is then.
I would volunteer to do the driving for them.
Well,
Yeah,
no-
I'm free for a day rate.
The key thing is we drive, all three of us drive a lot for what we do for a job. Now I drive all up and down the country all of the time. And there are occasions where I'll come into a village without realising that I'm in a village and instantly have to slow down. And I was talking about this with other people where I live just this last weekend because it's so topical. I said, and half of the impact is trying to engage people with the fact that they're in that zone. And I do think there needs to be more so that you understand you're going into a residential area, because quite often you creep into it without realising and then suddenly you're there. And strangely, those posh like wooden starts to villages sometimes, which seem like a real waste of money, but what they do, that and a rumble strip or that and some way of engaging you
Or a
to
giveaway
understand
thing.
this is where people live, this is where children cross the roads. Children aren't that clever. They will quite often do what they're not supposed to. They might not look, and ultimately your job is to stop. So you going at 20 just makes it safer for you, the driver, as well, because the last thing you want to do is have a crash or hit someone.
Exactly. Always leave home to get back safely, and that should be everyone's priority.
I always say this is when you're driving. Like, if it's a 30 mile an hour limit, people creep up to 35 without realising. So 30 often means people are going through a village at 30 or 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you're at 20, even at 25 miles, it's so much better. You're gaining so much more time.
Well, stopping distances as well. It's 2 car lengths to stop doing 20 miles an hour and 6 car lengths, give or take, when you're doing 30 miles an hour, which is
Really?
a massive,
But also,
I didn't know that.
massive difference.
If you're the person
Christ.
on the road, it gives you time to react.
Yeah.
The car is coming slower, so you have time to react. Whereas when they're coming at 30, 35, that can be quite quick. Our house literally is in an old village, and it literally opens straight out onto a road. Most of the time no one's there, but then at rush hour, of course, people are zipping through, cutting through the villages. And you'll come out and someone could pass at 45 miles an hour. And it's just absolutely unbelievable that someone thinks that's appropriate.
I've got a confession. Where I am living some of the time is on a 30 zone. And it really should be a 20. And I actually was about to just buy a load of 20 mile an hour signs.
I've thought the same.
They're
And like magnets.
they're not crazy expensive.
Stick them all on, so all of them through the
I know.
village.
I was going to do a fake camera, the whole lot, and I was like, "What has happened to me? I've become like
I was going to get.
Keith."
I was going to get. I was wondering if I can get the whole parish involved. We could have a little, speed away, because there is a speed awareness group in our village. They even come out with the guns,
they?
and people stick their fingers up. I'm thinking, oh, come on!
I
All they're
know.
trying to do, they're not actually trying to catch you. What they're trying to do inadvertently is really educate you that this is a residential zone. They're not sat out on a dual carriageway trying to get you doing 67 in a 60.
What's so frustrating is that we are all pedestrians at some point in a day, and most of us are then all motorists. It's not, we don't become different animals. We are all the same.
It's not like we're cyclists.
But where I live, it's so mad. There's a 40, a 30 and a 20 zone within a really small area that I can see. It's like, just make it all 20, because it's if there are houses there are kids, there are people, just make it
and
all
I've
20.
this funny thing sometimes, and I do laugh, and I've done it, but you'll come out of one village, national speed limit, lovely road, and suddenly you're woofing along, and then you'll get to the next one, nail it down to 30 again. And actually, I thought, that's how
Do you know what?
should
It's
be.
a lovely discipline as well, because it makes you realise that you're fully aware of what's going on, and it gives me a little bit of perverse pleasure actually to be really good with my roads
And also, what is
speeds.
great going forward which isn't great with some of the things with cars, is that cars are becoming incredibly clever.
And quiet.
So on my car now, I didn't realise this until I spoke to someone, that the high beam assist, which comes on and comes off and drives lots of people mad because it blinds you sometimes, when you're going through a village, it works with the sat-nav or GPS, and it won't put the high beam on through villages because you're supposed to be going 30 miles an hour. You don't require it, and it won't put it on. So if that already knows that, and bear in mind we're going into these crazy clever cars, there's no reason why every car shouldn't just get to a 20 mile an hour zone.
Shut down.
Pit limiter.
Yeah.
Almost.
Pit limiter. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what?
What else do you think we can do to help us do 20 and a 20? I think there should be more roads, 20 mile an hour zones on the floor, because some people...
I need more furniture, bumps, giveaway thingies, little grates,
We've
whatever.
had the same problem with this. We discussed this again in the village where we live, and the problem you have is whatever you put in becomes actually also a problem for the person living next to it as well. So if you get like rumble strips, you want that to be away from any houses, because obviously the person near it, speed bumps the same. If you put in, and we actually park all our cars in the road on purpose to slow people down. But if you put width restrictions, the problem is whoever's next to that width restriction gets this all the time, all night long.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
there's no perfect one thing that changes it. And if you get little areas of sort of dead space, you can put these things in. It doesn't upset anyone. But I genuinely feel the best way is engage someone coming in.
Yeah.
Even if every single village had a different colour tarmac. When you're in a village, a 20 mile an hour zone, whole thing's different tarmac, red tarmac.
Oh, Rainbow Road, like in Mario Brothers.
Or even average speed check on the way into a village, you have little yellow things on a gantry, and if you get to the other end of the village within a certain time, you get
eggs pelted
you lose
at
a chunk of your licence.
There's got to be a way of doing it.
But also, I think engagement as well when we're driving. I really strongly recommend speaking out loud what you see in a 20, because you will be amazed at what your brain has to process. I'm coming into a 20 mile an hour zone. There's a school bus on the left hand side. School children might be coming out. On the right, I can't overtake. There's a bicycle. Say all of these things, because it really engages you, and it will make you a better driver.
In fairness to the government, anywhere near a school or nursery already has 20 mile an hour zones.
Should be
That was
10.
put in years ago. Well, I don't know, sometimes my children there speed them up. But those children, once they've gone out of their schools, that's their houses still. And where do they run out and play? You know, it's such a good topic, and it is.
Yeah.
And doggos.
Yeah, the woofs.
Oh, there's
The WEFs.
Yeah.
They're my children.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, and also, as I say, if you're a real driver, a real petrol head, this has no bearing on you being a petrol head at all.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think, the people that aren't petrol heads are the ones that just feel like they've got this ability to do whatever they like, whenever they like.
I think it is very interesting that we all love driving, and we're all in agreement that the 20 mile an hour zone should be.
Absolutely.
And we have children, but Tom doesn't have children, so he hasn't got as much of a dog in the fight. He has got a dog, but not in the fight. So, but you understand, because when you have children, you're actually petrified as well.
Petrified, that's a really good thing. When you're cycling on the pavement, no matter how wide the pavement is, they could fall. Oh, anyway. Right, well, that is food for thought. Please let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you.
Volunteers to be run over. Think not.
Right then, which leads us to our lovely quiz. And the quiz is related to the 20 mile an hour zones, because it is about the highway code.
Oh, I've got some props. Shall I get them?
Oh my gosh, yes please.
Let me get these props. Bear with me.
Tom, when was the last time you read the highway code or picked it up? Do you know what the highway code is?
I'm on it every week.
One for you, Tom.
Every week.
One for me.
Love it. Yes, so when you know the answer, put the paddle in the air.
I'm not bidding on anything, am I? Have to
Who
pay
knows?
with
Who
pocket
knows?
fluff at this point.
Okay. When was the last time you had a look at the highway code?
When I passed my test.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
And it's changed.
Yes, light bedroom
My
reading
other
for me.
half has actually been doing her theory recently, so she tested me the other day, a mock theory, whilst I was driving, talking to me.
Yeah.
Nothing dodgy. And I passed, so
Oh, bravo. Well,
shouldn't have said that,
Just
should
put a
I?
lot of pressure on yourself now.
okay. When is it illegal to use your horn? Oh, Mathew Priddy.
It's illegal to use your horn after 9 p.m.
It's the watershed, mate. That. Isn't it 11 p.m?
Tom's closest though. May I
Midnight.
give it to Tom? 11:30 and 7 a.m. in 20, 30 mile an hour zone limits, which are called restricted roads. Also, you should not. You should only use your horn to warn someone of danger, not to indicate your annoyance.
That's with hand gestures.
Yeah,
Last
get the window
time-
down for that.
I did honk the horn in anger the other day. Oh, it's impatience. It's impatience.
But I think if you flag other people's errors, you're improving the road network because they learn.
Do they?
Do they?
But if you flag they've done something wrong, then they think, last time I did that, I got tooted. Maybe I should pay more attention or something like that. So it's for the greater good, I think. Same as
You're basically-
abusing people. It's not.
You're basically a teacher, are you?
Yeah, that's it.
Right, next question. Remember, paddles in the air when you
All
think
right.
you know the answer. When do you need to take an eyesight test? Oh, hallelujah.
Is it 70 years old?
That's it? Just at 70?
Well, or if you've lost your sight. But it's
Okay.
never like an age thing that you have to do again at a certain
Okay.
age. Is that an eye test involved?
Okay, thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, I'm wrong, yeah.
Tom,
If you get diagnosed with like an eye thing.
okay, thank you for your contribution.
They definitely
Holy
do multi.
cat weasel.
There's definitely multi choices on the real thing. Surely.
Anyone fancy having an eye test actually when they pass their driving test, when they take their test? Anyone want to offer that?
I don't think I did.
Yes, you would
My other
have
half
done.
got banned from her lessons because she had a lazy eye. So the instructor made her swap halfway through the lesson because he was somehow worked out that she had a lazy eye. Said, let's swap seats and took her back and said, you have to get an eye test before you get back in the car.
Oh, golly gosh.
Yeah, it's good. It's good in my house.
Well, the thing is, right, you're supposed to be able to read a number plate. So that is, in effect, your eye test.
So that's the eye test. I remember now. You
yeah.
did that in the car park, don't they? They
Yeah,
sit in
exactly.
the car
So
park.
read a number
Can you
plate
read that?
20 metres away in good daylight. If you wear contacts, we'll have glasses.
So the
pop
trick
them on.
used to be, as you went in, your driving instructor would tell you all the number plates in the car park just in case.
Well, that's an amazing bit of memory.
They could just do that.
Jeez. So possibly when you're age 17, and then the next one when you reapply at aged 70 or whatever. Isn't that disgusting that you only have an eye test?
Who said that?
Oh,
I'll be all
that
right.
That is terrible.
It is appalling.
My eyesight's terrible now. I mean, it's good enough to drive, but it's way worse than when I was 17 or whatever it was.
I know, it is
That's
really
mad.
shocking. I know, really bad that.
Good stuff.
Next one.
Okay, what is the minimum tyre tread depth on your car's rubber supposed to be? Yes, Tom Exton.
1.6.
Woo, woo, woo. Or, do you know how else to measure it?
There's the little
two
thing.
things in between, yeah.
The little line on the...
Which and
Okay.
my game is to make sure my tyre gets as close to that as possible before I change it.
Before the wire pops out.
I want value for money.
Take a 20p piece, turn it so it's like edge on,
Mm-hmm.
and pop it into the little groove in your tyre. If you can't see the outer rim of the 20p piece, you're good. If you can see the outer rim on the 20p piece, you're less than 1.6 millimetres.
It's important as well. You get points. If you get pulled
do.
over, and you get actual points.
And they're not Brucey bonus points.
Nope. Good lord. No speed awareness.
Is anyone taking scores? I think you're in the lead, actually, Tom.
Tom's
2-1.
Yeah, I'm
only one to
winning.
get 1
Yeah.
point.
That's all you need to know. I'm winning.
Right, stopping distances of a car at...
Oh, you just told us something.
I did just tell you.
I've forgotten already.
I roughly told you.
Can we have a clue?
20 miles an hour stopping distance at 20.
2 car lengths.
I did say 2. I was incorrect. It's actually 3. But 100% for memory recall.
Listening, yeah.
For listening,
Yeah.
Tom. Yes. And at 30 miles an hour,
6 times that.
6 car lengths.
So, yeah, so what I said
That doesn't
was rubbish.
count. That's
Yeah,
6
twice.
times that, yeah.
And no,
Twice.
six
And,
is
and
a
it's
point.
taken away, and you've given. See, I could have got that. That would have 1 all. Let's call it
I
1
remember
all.
the number
Yeah,
6.
let's call it 1 all. Yeah, so 20 mile an hour is 12 metres, or 3 car lengths and 30. It's
That is
mad,
crazy.
Isn't it?
That's
That is
quite
crazy.
hard. Although it's just I mean, I always say the strange thing because other things that reference the actual code. I'm thinking, but what car is that? Because
What are the brakes on that?
Steels or
Are they
ceramics?
car- Exactly.
Is that a Morris 1100? Because
Drum
obviously
brakes?
they'll take 6 cars, but then
Yeah.
you know.
Did they ever update that? Because obviously the original stats were done on like a, don't know,
On a no
a Model
ABS
T or
car,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in theory, those cars are still able to drive. So
Oh,
you
it's all
should take,
relative.
so you should take it on the worst car theoretically,
Yeah.
because obviously that car is still on the road. It's not like
Or-
we're taking them away.
Statistically, then you should be able to drive like more of a weasel if you have a better car.
Don't put that out there.
Arguably,
Do not put that out there.
Arguably, no, I don't actually believe that.
Should we move on?
Yeah,
Yes, move on.
Okay. How do you identify a dual carriageway? Paddles in the air. Tom, is this because your girlfriend's helped you with some recent stuff?
Well, wait to hear my answer.
Okay.
It's got 2 lanes.
Yep. Half. I'll give you
And
half.
street
point.
lights. No, that's a different one.
That's stupid, mate.
Matthew.
Yeah, don't. This is serious, so don't just say something silly, all right? Serious learning
He's
thing.
made a life out of saying
Yes,
something.
I've got this far.
Anything else?
It's 2 lanes.
I'm sure there's a sign, isn't there? The dual carriageway sign, but don't ask us to draw it.
Isn't it a national speed limit sign as well, maybe?
When there's a physical barrier between you going one way and oncoming traffic
Not a
coming
mental
the other.
barrier, a
So,
physical
so
barrier.
whether it's a hedge or an Armco or something like that. So basically, if you get a tennis ball, this is what some experts say, if you get a tennis ball on one edge, and can you roll the tennis ball all the way through?
You can if it's an Armco, it's underneath it.
I know that. You see, and that was my
This is a problem.
Answer to
I'm
it,
that
but
smarty
the-
pants that sits there and writes it on it, and they go,
Is
no,
Is
you
the
got the answer.
A316 a dual carriageway?
A316.
Surely
Yes, it is. It is. There are parts of it that are.
But there's no thing between them all.
You could roll a tennis ball.
Yeah,
but there
tennis.
is-
I'm going to go there with a tennis ball and film it and send
Okay,
it to
let's
you
not
on
say
WhatsApp.
tennis ball. Let's go.
And Vicky Butler-Henderson
football.
said,
Let's go at this light. Can you roll that light?
you can
across
roll it
all
anywhere. It's
big?
attached to that pole.
I think I'd lose a limb.
Did I
Next.
answer the question enough?
Basically, I got the point.
You got
You got
half.
half a point. It's just 1.5 to 1.
Next, what's the speed on a dual carriageway?
Ah,
I don't actually know.
Paddle in the air. Oh my gosh! What do you mean you don't?
What
know?
national speed limit?
No, I didn't ask that question.
I know this because I got.
I asked the question. What's the speed on a dual carriageway?
Is it? Well, I think it's 50.
I think it
I
can
was-
be 60
okay.
if it's national speed limit.
Oh my! Isn't this mad?
Hang on a second.
Is it- we're
Hold
all
on.
You just look at the
drivers.
signs.
Hold on. I got caught. I've got recent, admission. I got my first ever speeding ticket 3 weeks ago on a dual carriageway.
Points
I thought
or
it was-
awareness?
I thought it was, no, I couldn't do awareness because I thought it was a 70 national speed limit, came off the motorway, 70 miles an hour, got a ticket doing 71, fair enough. It was a 50. And I even pleaded my case and said, I genuinely thought that was a 70. I cannot find, and obviously I went back, found there was a freaking 50 sign.
There we go.
I didn't see the damn thing.
So normally a dual carriageway is the national speed limit, which is 70, but there are dual carriageways which will say I'm in a 50 zone or a
annoying.
60. Okay, so
It's 3
but isn't
points.
that interesting that we drive every day on dual carriageways and yet it's
And I've driven a lot. I've never had a speeding ticket, so there was no recourse for me. It's like, no, you're clearly a good driver. You clearly obey the rules, but you're not having any. You can't have a speed awareness
wow,
because it's 10. Speed awareness is only if you've gone 10% over the speed limit.
really?
Yeah, it's nothing to do with any other than speed 10.
wow.
Well,
That's
sorry,
nuts.
police tell me.
Oh, well, not got much to do, have they?
Next question: can you wear flip flops when you're driving? Yes, Matthew.
No. What?
Tom, do you want to try and answer it correctly?
You can't wear flip flops when driving, can you?
So, Rule 97 of the Highway Code says footwear should not prevent you from using controls properly. Doesn't say flip-flops are absolutely banned.
it's
So you
trick-
can wear
that's
flip-flops.
Yeah, I'm pretty agile in flip flops.
I
so
can
yeah,
imagine.
be
That's
fine.
Trick question.
Well, okay. Can you drive barefooted?
No.
Paddles in the air, please.
No.
Matthew, incorrect.
You've got.
Well,
Tom,
yes.
50-50 chance.
I've given you half these points here. Clearly,
Of course
I've
you can.
given you
Have you ever driven barefoot? It's actually quite fun.
It is quite fun,
Oh, well,
isn't it?
I-
Yeah, you feel
now
you feel like a rally driver. You feel like someone like
I was worried
in tune
about.
what's
I
going
was
on.
worried about admitting it, but now it's not. It's fine.
No.
Then yeah, I do.
The
But
thing, but if you are stopped by the police or in an accident and you are deemed to be not in control of your vehicle, then you will get banged to rights,
I've never,
Governor.
I've never really known what difference a pair of shoes on your foot and barefoot makes much of a difference. Personally, I don't think how. But I always thought it was something I shouldn't have been doing. Oh well, now I'm
Well, there you go.
free to flip flop and.
And here is a question that Tom asked me to ask. And so obviously you can only give the answer here, Matthew. Can you drive in stilettos?
Only on weekends.
Are you asking me whether I've tried it and I can, or whether I'm allowed to?
Legally.
Legally, I'm assuming yes.
Yes, you can drive in stilettos.
I'll
Again,
have
going
to
back to
try
Rule
it.
97 of the Highway Code. The winner, I think it's probably a draw.
No.
No, really?
I gave Tom about 3 points there by incorrectly
Don't be salty.
announcing the answer.
Don't be salty. Let me have this one.
Congratulations then, Mr. Tom Exton.
Thank you so much.
Next quiz about movies, I'll have them back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's it from us for this current Historics podcast. Tom, would you like to let people know where they can get more of us?
Oh yeah, this is my bit, isn't it? Make sure you're following Historics on all the podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you're listening to this, keep following and subscribe or whatever it is. And make sure you're also following on Instagram, because there are a sneak peek of all the cars ahead of the next auction. Are they not? Before the catalogue goes out, so you get a little taste of the next auction. And obviously subscribe on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube. Probably minimised it by now, but yeah, listening to us in the background, it's quite a lot of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew.
Next auction after this podcast will be the Mercedes-Benz auction. So if you are interested in free valuation, us coming and having a look at your car or visiting, please go on the website, contact us immediately. They'll also see some of the things in the footnotes. So please keep us in mind if you're looking to value your classic car.
That's it. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for
Thank
a romp along.
And thank you, Hagerty.
Yes, thank you indeed. Yeah. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.